Welcome to Being Heard, a podcast by us, the brothers Koren, as an exploration of the simple yet profound effects of music, song, and voice.
Together we'll explore topics from sound healing, songwriting, the positive effects of singing, and coming home to the one-of-a-kind voice that you've been given this lifetime.
Let's journey through the musical cosmos and discover our human potential through sound.
Let's go.
Cross the river with a barge man, just in his rusty horse, and his eyes are heroes unspoken.
This is Being Heard. I am Thorald. This is Isaac. We are the brothers Koren. And today we're speaking about emotion and as it pertains to the voice, as it pertains to being a healthy voice in your life. Right? How's it going for you?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I mean, we're really these like skin suits that are mostly water, and water holds electric current, and emotions are really these waves of electric, of current, of charge. You know, that we sense them, and they trigger feelings and sensations in our body, and you know, we have so many ways to numb ourselves and to not feel. And the busier we get, the more it's like, yeah, I can't even think about that, let alone feel it, right? And so we tend to move through life at a fast pace and store emotions that went unfelt, unexpressed. And we kind of collect these stuck feelings we find. And what happens when we let that accrete, get hard, you know, but go from the emotional kind of space into the physical space, perhaps that's when we do find disease or pain or, you know, discomfort. And so we find that the voice is this powerful tool to release at least some of that excess emotion and liberate our expression so that we feel free to sound angry sometimes in a safe way, or, you know, cry that river of tears that feel like sometimes it banks up and we just it's not safe to go there because it may never stop, you know. But a lot of us were told when we were young to, oh no, don't cry, or we don't get angry, use your words, right? Don't get angry, use your words, you know. I would say in our family it was a bit like, you know, getting angry was a bit out of the place. I mean, you know, I think we were pretty much given a lot of rope to express ourselves comparatively. You know, but I think it's a big theme really that requires a lot of attention because it kind of goes unnoticed. There's a lot of amazing research on, you know, how the body keeps the score, right?
Of course.
And holds on to emotion. And so the voice we've found is an amazing express valve for this complex human that we've become.
Well, this is a massive subject. I was saying as you were talking, you know, for us growing up together, you know, maybe for me, like when our family divorced, what was the most taboo, I think, was grief. You know, actually grieving the loss of family members that had passed. I really noticed that. We just back on a trip to Australia, I was really noticing that grief was not always, or just like truly leaving a space to feel loss was not always very available in our family. So I would say that was the one that just came up as you were speaking, and creating more spaces to feel those things that, for anyone that's listening, like where you just didn't have the available space. And we see that, to me, the word is support.
Yeah.
And you go through life, you said before, you know, you go through life, it's you know, 2026, there's all of this activity and perceived, projected threat of the world and the world's kind of safety, and but there's also real survival. There's also real wars going on, real stuff going on, real challenges, real, for a lot of people, stacked calendars. And you said something so powerful, and so simple, which is a feeling comes up, and for many of us, we have to be like, I don't have time to feel that. That doesn't fit into the next appointment or the next moment or cooking dinner or putting my kid to bed. And so I don't know if we always realize that we are moving on from feelings, and that's how they build up, little micro moments. And for today in this conversation, it's so much about like when emotion waits, it's not in motion. When emotion waits for someday and we don't return to it, it builds up like little micro, dare I say, voice trauma that builds over the course of time. And really the question here in this conversation is more like, where in your day, in your week, in your moments when feelings arise, can you give yourself supportive environments where you have support to feel what's coming up in front of yourself, with others, a cup of tea with a friend, in voice circles? Where are you going to express the feelings that arise in your system? And that's definitely a part of voice health. It's definitely a part of emotional health. And the voice is one of those sort of integral parts that you can, without words, without story, without narrative, you can give yourself back permission to sound the feelings that are coming up in your system. Maybe they're coming up from the week you're having, but maybe they're coming up from 16 years ago. And all you got to do is spend a few minutes with a little bit of sadness. And how might you invite that in to your singing voice?
Yeah, I agree. This kind of modern parenting techniques of reflecting, how the toddler or the 5-year-old or the 10-year-old feels rather than negating it, right? And saying, oh yeah, but it's not like that. It's like this, right? It's kind of, it's quickly distracting them so that they don't feel that sadness, right? And so how can we apply that modern parenting technique of being reflected back in our feelings as they are, not trying to move them on, right? We're asking, ourselves and others to reparent themselves emotionally, ultimately, and do the other thing, which is to go, I'm actually feeling really angry right now. And what do you need? Do you need to go and get into the parked car and hit the dashboard a few times and scream it out? Or, do you need to find that best friend that you said and go have a good cry with them? Or, whatever it is, move. Sometimes people find dance and movement to really move emotion. Sometimes maybe you just need to book in a karaoke session with your best mates and find some heartache songs and just kind of, like you said, where are these safe spaces for grief in our society? Where are they? Where are they?
And maybe we should say, instead of just grief, more just the uncomfortable, less appropriate, I love that word, less appropriate feelings that come up in our system that aren't easy to feel, right? And maybe part of our survival system has created a strategy to move away and avoid those feelings because they've gone unexpressed for long enough. They become easier to avoid, right? It's part of our biology that does that. So we're going back against the natural resistance of our biology to create little spaces to feel what's gone unfelt. It's not an easy request. And we're going to go through, I didn't say this before, but I really think we should go through just a brief voice experience in this conversation, just as a simple thing someone could do in a car or on a walk. Like there's a build up, maybe you wake up and there's a build up of past emotion that's arising in your body. What an opportunity. Take yourself on a walk and maybe just a simple breath work, voice work moment will at least invite that feeling into your day with you in a safe way. Yeah. Right?
I mean, I think that what the voice and music help us with is, talk therapy is amazing. And where it falls short is that we can tend to get stuck in the story, in the words, and just stay in this, what happened to me, rather than how is it that I'm feeling and where in the body am I present to that feeling, and how can I keep that feeling moving, right? Maybe some of these questions for certain people that have moved through trauma, through talk therapy, this kind of approach to emotion itself as a pure energetic experience and phenomenon might be helpful, right?
Absolutely.
To kind of really free the body of stuck emotion, stuck sound,
and in simple ways, in simple moments. So let's lead. I won't even pick up an instrument. Let's just imagine there's no instrument. Imagine there's where we only have time to go on a little 5-minute walk. Like, let's orient. Let's invite a feeling to be conjured or invited, not to be pushed away. And let's invite it to be sounded. Let's invite it to be available and supported, to be felt as is. And so if you're here listening to this moment, just taking a moment to invite yourself, first and foremost, to take an inhale and an exhale, and just invite yourself back into your skin, this skin suit Isaac referenced, this 360-degree incredible web of connective tissue and skin. Can you invite yourself back behind it, falling beautifully behind your face, and maybe you're feeling some discomfort or less than comfortable feelings. Can you invite yourself to just take up your bones, occupy this body as it is, without it changing, without needing to run from it, avoid its feeling, but just become present to what is, not becoming the feeling, but having the feelings. Maybe you notice there's some good feelings too, as you sink down, leaning back on your spine, trust falling back into your body, and just connecting to the breath as low as you can into your belly, and just becoming aware of one feeling that's gone the least felt lately. And notice how compounded it is. Maybe it's a feeling that's new, or maybe it's years old. Whatever it is, can you just at your pace invite it to be felt without it needing to be moved or fixed or shaped or shifted in any way? Can you just allow it to be felt? And can you, like Isaac said, as you orient toward it, can you just locate where maybe in the body, in the physical somatic body, you're naturally feeling it in your instrument? Maybe it's in your chest, it's in your belly, it's in your head, wherever it is. Bringing your awareness there, and just an inhale, starting to breathe with it. And instead of trying to move it, sending it your breath, giving over this moment to the courageous choice to just be with the feeling, to feel the feeling as it is, to have the feeling. And whenever you're ready, just inviting that feeling now into a hum. Quite literally conjuring up permission to feel that inside your mouth and into the cavity of your head, into the place you felt the buildup of feeling to. You might want to sing to that area if you felt it in your heart, your chest, your belly. Maybe it's a soft feeling. Maybe it's a loud hum. Can you be okay with feeling it? On every exhale, on every hum, giving yourself a deeper, an even deeper, more beautiful permission to feel the feeling. And notice it might already be shifting. Maybe it's morphing into something new. And our invitation this month is to not need it to be gone or fixed, but purely just giving yourself permission and support to feel it is enough.
Yeah, just notice if you gave yourself the permission to do this voice warm in with us, just notice, what is the quality of your silence now? What is the nature of your experience of your body? It can be multiple things too. At once.
Yeah.
You know, science shows that we only tend to stay in a particular mood or emotion for 90 seconds, roughly. And any longer than that is some kind of system we've created, or thought-based system, that a tendency or a habit of thinking about a particular thing, or worrying about the particular emotion, or kind of in some ways holding on to or identifying with that emotion that we're feeling, or that mood. I am bored instead of I am experiencing boredom. I have, frustration, or I am frustrated instead of I have frustration. So, how can we stay in motion rather than manage our feelings? How can we move through them, authentically?
Be with them, have them, sound from them, invite them, make ourselves available to feel what needs to be felt, wants to be felt, right? So we look at that as availability, right? Bioavailability. Here's a secret. The greatest singing voice of your life comes from this permission.
Yeah.
You don't have to go very far to just think of your favorite singers of all time. They probably weren't, focused on sounding good and looking good and performing well for you. They were probably focused on giving themselves full permission to access how it felt to be them and alive through song, and that song fucking hit you where you lived. And that's great music that meets you in the feeling you're having. That's what a great artist does, and everyone listening can have the same experience, right, through their voice as well.
And in that way, I believe I see artists, great artists, as healers in their own right, because they were healing something in themselves, and through that lens, or through that experience that they captured, we get to benefit. We get to heal ourselves through them, and meet ourselves in an emotion that we needed to be reflected in.
Yeah. And we can do the same with original music for ourselves. So if you're curious about writing your own original songs, it's not too late. Please do so. Please do so. Wow. This has been Being Heard. Thanks you.
Thanks for joining us.
Yeah. Speak soon. Sing soon.
Hello, you've reached the Koren family, but we're not home right now. So if you'd like, leave a message. Use your voice right now.